Hello there, it is your brother in the continual fight for survival. I will be accompanied on the base by my stomach, which is making like groaning bass like noises because I do not seem to want to eat these days. But yesterday I was able to finally put my fingers to a guitar, and my plan is to work out a riff and send it to the Brent guy, and because he's like, well, we can. Man, why do I always have these throat problems nowadays? Damn it! But he was like, well, we can like play guitars and jam together and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I don't really know how to use technology, but I do know how to make a video. So I worked out a riff on guitar until my fingers couldn't take it anymore because you got to build up those calluses, and I haven't touched a guitar in a very long time. But I got the setup, but now I have to move the setup in here and then play it to an amplifier in this small room because I can't. I just don't feel comfortable cranking out the noise in the living room. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do today. And then when he calls me tomorrow, I'll be like, well, I made this riff. If you want to see it, you know, I can send it to you using that Google Drive stuff. With this, not too familiar with the technology. I just know that the files that this computer makes are too big to send to people without using Google Drive through an email. So, you know, um, it, I don't know. It's just something that I was working on yesterday. So I displayed a tiny bit of ambition doing that. I gave my brother, the one whose dog just died, like a whole bunch of food. I just handed it to him out the window on the porch because I was like, I don't want you in my house. I don't know where you've been. So I just handed it to him out the window. Well, first I was just dropping garbage bags filled with frozen dinners and setting them on the porch because I knew they were coming. Then they came in the middle of that, and then he looks very skinny. But I don't know how he's been eating, but I loaded him up real good. And I did some walking yesterday, but not a whole lot. And went to sleep late again and woke up later than I wanted to. So, you know, I think I woke up at 8 o'clock on the dot just about, and haven't done a whole lot else except for eat a small apple pie, drink coffee, and listen to my stomach saying, like, come on, that apple pie was as big as a quarter. We need something solid. And I haven't kept my word about going out in the back and setting up somewhere to sit so I can be outside more. And maybe get some, I don't know, indirect exposure to sunlight so that my fingernails will get hard enough to play a guitar because this is my pick right here. And I don't have one right now. So it makes it very hard to play a guitar if you play with your thumbnail and your thumbnail split and you had to cut your thumbnail mostly off. So it needs to be like about yay long, but it's split doing something I don't know what. But I don't get enough sunlight, indirect or otherwise, to process vitamin D to harden my nails. I actually have something my niece bought for me that I had to break out of bedbug quarantine, which is a nail hardener system, which is like professional quality. Where you use some kind of gel, and it has two different kind of gels, and you use like a UV light, and it I only did it the one time, and I didn't notice any drastic improvement in my fingernails, but I used it the one time, and then the bed bug thing hits, and you know it was sitting back there on the bed where the hobo cans with the spoons in them. Another thing I have to address is the general pigsty that this place is. And but anyways, I was like, oh, that's got to go in a bag. So I was thinking, maybe it's been almost a year since the bed bug crisis, it's like maybe if I'm careful, I can break that out. You know, I also have to look at the houses and decide if I want to what I want to do about that because I only have like two houses or apartments rather left to look at and decide what I want to do about that if I want to wait on that or not. I have a headache. I don't know if it's from not eating or just general stress. I was thinking a lot today about like you need to have a doctor because I got these pills here for thinning my blood, Xarelto. I don't know. I'll have to call my doctor's office. I think a cardiologist prescribes them for me. I'll have to also check on the website. But these are kind of important for me to have because if I have Xarelto in my system, that means I can get shocked in the ER and get the fuck out the hospital and not be kept in there because I'll be like, I'm taking my blood thinner, my blood's thin. If I, rather than stay in the hospital and risk exposure to, very many other things besides the main thing that's on everybody's mind. But you don't ever want to stay in a hospital if you can help it. Bad things happen in hospitals. So, yeah, I got things. I almost have to make a list, like you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this, and you have to do that. And it's very hard to do. I mean, it took me like 5 days just to do something I love, which is fuck around with the guitar. Just to like drag the guitar out of here, set up the new guitar workstation, set up an earbud with a extension cord device. It's like that's depression for you. You don't even want to do the things that you like doing, let alone the things that you don't enjoy, the chores, the picking up of your, you know, just having random stuff laying around, eating. I don't really enjoy eating, but that's like a chore to me. But I don't eat, and yeah, snap out of it. Depression is not an option. Sometimes it's like, yeah, it's like I said, I am your brother in the fight for survival, and depression can get in the way of survival as far as like getting shit done that you need to get done. As far as making a decision about the rent, I just leaving it float around in the air. I had decided like I ain't giving that guy any more money, but then I talked to the guy and he's like, "Well, you don't want to ruin your reputation." And in my state of mind, I didn't think like, "Well, do you really want an eviction filed against you and have that on your record if you're trying to find a decent place to live?" You're kind of working against your own purposes. So I haven't made up my mind about that. And plus, say that I stiff the landlord and I move into this new place. Like, say I tell the guy tomorrow, like, I want to move here. We get the deal done within a week. And I sign the papers and hand over the money and shit. And then I still stiff my landlord. Suppose I don't like living there and I want to move in like 6 months. It'll be on my record that I stiffed this other landlord. So especially somebody in my situation where I have negative credit. I have like I had I had zero credit, but then AT&T tried to stiff me over money I did not owe, which I should have recorded the conversation or remembered the date of the conversation because I think all conversations are recorded where the guy on the phone told me and I asked him specifically in no uncertain terms, "So you're saying I do not owe this money? That I do not need to worry about paying this money?" And he said yes, just to get me off the phone. The next thing I know, AT&T is submitting me to a credit collector, and I'm getting notices and harassing phone calls. And the funny thing is, I am talking to you right now through AT&T. So who knows what kind of could be just kind of bureaucratic fuck up or what, I don't know. but they didn't take it too seriously. But it's still on your credit record, that, oh, you didn't pay this bill, and I didn't pay it as a point of principle, not because it was $147. And then I have not paid it for so long that they were bargaining with me, like, just pay half of it. I was like, I don't know any of it. you know. So again, that's just me being stupid, probably. Um, but yeah, I have a lot of stuff to. I don't feel good physically a lot of the time, as we know, and it doesn't make you ambitious. And I have a lot of stuff to do. Like I said, this is, like I entitled that one video, this is a time of great change for me. And it's like I can't afford to let myself fall into a depression. And I didn't go outside this morning. All I got to do is walk around and stumble down some steps and just see if there's a chair back there. And I told you that I would do that, and I failed. I failed you. I didn't go back and do that. Uh, didn't do it yesterday. I didn't do it today. I didn't leave the house. I don't want nothing to do with any of the people in this building. I don't want to run into any of them. I don't want to have stupid forced conversations or angry conversations with them. So, but yeah, today I have to think about, I don't know, getting some of the funky ass dishes out of here, and the hobo cans of beans with spoons sticking out of them, and think about getting some shit done. But it's not that I don't have ambition; it's I have a broken body, and it makes everything freaking difficult. Like when I carried my guitar out of here, I'm like using my guitar for a cane in the case, of course. I wouldn't want to fall over and damage it. $1,000 guitar. But I'm just like limping around, like using the guitar case for a cane. So it's not that I don't have ambition, that I don't want to do things. It's like can't walk safely. Makes things difficult. Like I can walk. It's just like it just makes everything difficult. You're worrying about falling over, like picking up and carrying things. I dragged, for instance, I didn't lift up and carry this workstation thing's like yay big and weighs maybe 20 pounds. It's like I did not walk, pick that up and carry it. I like slid it across the floor into position. So it's everything is difficult when you're dealing with the prospect of falling and breaking expensive shit, or falling and breaking the most expensive shit of all, which is this body. Like I did, I did some serious damage to myself when I didn't even fall. I just caught myself falling and leaned over and tweaked my ankle and my knee, and that kept me from walking for like 6 to 7 days, about a week. I fell on a Friday, and I took my first walk outside after that on a Thursday, and I was like, holy crap, this hurts and it's uncomfortable. And I have gotten worse at it just in a week. And then, I went outside the one time, and then I've just been walking inside back and forth, which is annoying and boring. But anyways, that's the state of me. Obviously got stuff to do. I need to get moving and formulate a plan of some kind, and find the will, which is the hard part, to stick to said plan. And I'm gonna have to deal with not having a doctor, and I got like 10 of these things left, maybe. I don't think I have another bottle of them around here, but I actually do have to write a list of the things I need to do, and I can check the drugstore website to see what my status is on these. I don't see anything. It's got a torn thing on it because it had like a flap hanging off it that I just tore off, that probably told me if I had any refills on it. I don't even know who's prescribing these things, if the prescription is coming through my doctor, which technically I still have a doctor until the end of April. So I was thinking I also should refill these blood pressure pills, which I know are prescribed by him, even though I don't need them. It says I got refills on that. I don't need them right now. I can get a refill on them. But I got to write this shit down, man, and stick to it and do it, you know. Um, I'm not, I'm just like, got that depression thing and the whole feeling of being overwhelmed by your situation where you just don't want to do anything. So, yeah, a list would probably be a good idea to like, make a list of these things that I need to do. And doesn't make me. I did keep my word about finally fucking around with the guitar, which is a weird thing to have to keep your word about, since I had to make my stop once I got into playing and I found something I liked to play. It's like I had to make myself stop. It's like you're just gonna put blisters on your fingers and then you won't be able to play tomorrow. So you have to like ease your way into it. You go and play for like 15 minutes with your baby butt fingers, and then you have to get them hard. Like when I was playing regular, I used to do this thing where I'd be smoking a cigar and I'd just not put the cigar out on the end of my finger, but I did it just to fuck with my nephew. Just like touch the end of my finger to a cigar. I'd be like, no muss, no fuss, man. You know, 'cause you get a hard ass calluses from playing a guitar, especially the way I do. Um, because I had this tendency to like squeeze the neck and bend the strings a lot and stuff because of an unfortunate guitar upbringing of playing on crappy guitars where you had to squeeze the shit out of the thing to make sure you wouldn't get fret buzz and to make sure the note would sound. I played on notoriously cheap guitars called Harmony. It was one of the first electrics I played, and it was a piece of crap. It wasn't even my guitar, but it was like the first electric that I played. So, you know, like I said in a video from a million years ago, if any parents are watching this, you have to make sure to buy your kid a decent guitar. Not a great guitar, but a decent guitar for his first guitar. Or you're doing him a disservice. If you buy him a $89 El Cheapo, yeah, you're buying him years and years of frustration and technical problems. You have to have a decent instrument to fuck with. And you can get one for under $200 usually. But anyways, I'm going to get off here and not use this as an excuse to not do what seems to me like a whole mountain of stuff to do, which probably is not that big a deal if I just look at it one thing at a time and make my little list of to do things. But obviously, I have to get a handle on my situation and prioritize. But I think it's a good idea, like I got to talk to that dude tomorrow. To talk to that dude, he talked about like maybe we can do this or maybe we can do that as far as playing guitars. And I'm like, oh, I'll just send you this riff that I made up. And you see if you can do anything with it or you think it's interesting or you want to expand on it. And I wouldn't even know how to play guitars with another person because I am 52 years old. I've been trying to do it for 30 years. And I wouldn't even know how to go about doing that. That's what I always wanted to do. But, you know, the people that are around me that were playing guitars were too busy with the toki toki smoky smoky. So, you know, we never would do it. And it's like, I never understood it. You know, I think, yeah. There was a few times where I tried to play along with somebody and it didn't work out real well. And, um, yeah, I don't know how to do that. But I wouldn't like, um, exchange musical ideas with people. That would be cool. Because I like making up riffs and screwing around with music. As a matter of fact, like I said, I had to stop myself before I injured my fingers. Because you'll get like a blister on the end of your finger and then it'll be too sore to play, and then it'll break open, and then you'll have skin hanging weird, and it'll get in the way of you playing, and it's just like, you have to like build up them calluses over time. So like it in 2 weeks usually it takes. You just have to pay attention, and when your fingers start saying ow, 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 it's time to quit, whether you want to or not. It's sort of like when you're curling a barbell and you start to feel the burn, and you're like, okay, we're feeling some burn, that's good enough. And you put the weight down so that the next day you're not like, oh, fuck, that hurts to move. But anyways, as usual, too long. That's yeah, I am a Long John Silver. That's what I always used to tell my nephew. I don't know if he was familiar with Treasure Island or if you are, but I was like, I always wanted to be a cripple in the style of Long John Silver. And he's like, what do you mean? And I always told him, I mean dangerous, feared, you know. So yeah, I am too long John Silver as I talk too long. So I'll see you later. Goodbye.